Good evening, educators. I want to take the privilege to welcome you to our webinar. Today we look at how we can build professional websites with WordPress. Talking to you is Ticha Denis Kruger, but I have other members who will support me during the session. My director from Shareability is on call, that is Rogers Mukarele. Can I ask him to unmute and greet briefly the participants?
Yes, I hope you can hear me. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogisha, for always organizing these calls and on various aspects of technology. I'm very glad to be on today and looking forward to this sharing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, there are a couple of participants. You know, in the interest of time, I can't give you all room to introduce yourselves. But Paul, Kivirige, Felix, Mugisho, Opio, Peter, Brother Simon, Wanzala Filmon, Wills, Jacobo, Yobu, and Joseph. Thank you all for joining. Like we've always done, I want to ask Paul, who had volunteered earlier on, to do an opening prayer.
Okay, let's humble ourselves for the opening prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for today. We thank you for this preparation. We thank you for this webinar we are going to have. And we thank you for all our educators, our facilitators for today's session, Father. We pray that you be the one to guide us, provide to us with what we can really put in consideration. Provide to us what can really build us and build our career, Father. Encourage and empower our dear facilitators to have it all so that they can deliver in full. Father, we pray that you will guide the participants to always listen to instructions and follow the instructions as instructed, Father. We pray, believing and trusting in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, who reigns now and forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. So, participants, like we've always done, you're free to share your opinions via the chat. We'll be at several instances integrating them for review. Please also be reminded that we'll keep our microphones muted. If you have any concern that you want to raise instantly, you are free to put up your hand so that I can give you room to instantly share that comment accordingly. That said, let's continue. Like you've known, Ticha Denis Kruger, just as I introduced earlier on, ICT educator, digital content creator, EduTech facilitator, a web developer. Please feel free to look at my portfolio at tichadenniskruger.com so that you can engage me, hire me for a workshop to facilitate, hire me to build your website, but also support you in content creation or general ICT application. For this webinar, these are going to be our goals. One, like you applied or registered for this event, we'll look at how we can register our domains, taking in consideration what it is. We also look at how we can host, having looked at what hosting entails. When we successfully created a domain and hosted the website, we'll go ahead to install WordPress on those very accounts. We'll continue to use the WordPress Full Editing, that is FSE, to design our complete website. And you'll understand what I mean by complete and probably what that generally entails. So without wasting our time, let us get started. Perhaps I would have loved so much to know amongst us, those of you who are beginners and intermediate who have joined. While I was reviewing the application records, those that you submitted through the website, I know some of you are beginners and others are intermediate. Kindly let us feel free. by show of hands, I'm looking at the participant lists. May I see those who have ever used WordPress shoot up their hand? If you've used WordPress, Paul, Peter, wow, that is good. At least on call, I have Peter and Paul. Any other person who has used the WordPress, you're free to put up your hand. Just a quick survey. All right. May I see those who are joining and have not used WordPress as beginners? Okay, Jos has put up their hand. Feel free, Mugisho. I see the hands up here. Simon. I think that is very good feedback. We'll instantly integrate it as we get along. All right, I can now ask you to lower the hands. And Peter, all right, Peter, I've seen the hand. Thank you for sharing the feedback. So why do we need a website? You see, for numerous webinars, we've been looking at a website. Why do we need a website? Ultimately, we use websites to build our digital presence, like we've shared continually. We use websites to showcase our portfolio, projects, and services. We use websites to control our online identity, identify ourselves with opportunity of sharing vast information about who we are. Then we also use our websites to reach a wider audience. You not really know that, like the word goes, website, it surpasses the entire globe. So if you host up a website somewhere, all the people across the world will have opportunity to read about you and know instantly who you are. So those are a few details why we need a website. And on call, maybe the last question I would wish to integrate with is this one. May I see those who have websites? Kindly feel free to put up your hand. I'm looking at the participants here. If you have a website, your personal website, or you've ever built a website, either in HTML or another content management system. Wow, Paul, Peter, that's very wonderful. Another person, yeah, Mugisho has also built a website. Thank you, colleagues, for sharing opinions. So that explains this purpose. If we had more time, I would have given you room to interact with us why you built a website. And that will be very, very pertinent to share experiences. So since we are building a website, it is important that we understand the key components of a website. A website has very many components, but I've just chosen a few. The very first main component of a website is a domain name. A domain name is just your web address. It is what users use to type to find your website. An example is www.tichadenskruger.com. When this address is written in the address bars or in search in web browsers, at least they can find my website. So this is an address. So a domain is a name, an address that we can utilize to visit a website. More practical examples will come. Then the second component is web hosting. Consider a web hosting as your website home. In several instances, when you want to do business, you identify a location, hire a room, or rent a room, and then later use the room to showcase your products. So web hosting is where all our website files are stored. An example is Shareability Web Services, a local service provider that hosts website. Of course, we have international companies like Hostinga, Bluehost, TrueHost, and GoDaddy. So that is the second component. The third component is a content management system. After you have secured a domain, you've set up hosting, you need to choose a content management system. Content management system is simply a platform that will help you to build and manage your website without coding. WordPress.org, of course, what we shall use tonight, offers very high level flexible site building tools. There are a couple of thousands of themes and plugins Later, we'll understand what plugins and themes are. But in a nutshell, those are the three components: domain name, web hosting, and then the content management system. The other very vital component, talking about a WordPress site, the theme and the plugin. Before even we do plugins practically, I just wanted to give you a background picture what a theme means. A WordPress theme controls the design and layout or the visual appearance of your website. You see, when you're going to build your website, you need to select a structure. By structure, I mean layout, how you want to organize the items, which fonts you want to use, how do you want to structure the pages, how do you want the header and the footer to look like. So normally, we use a theme to control the structure. We'll practically see what themes do. There are a couple of themes, but the current theme is 2025. 2024 is just close a year. We have Astra, Neve, and others, like we'll demonstrate to you. Additional to the theme is a plugin. That's a very vital component of a WordPress site. So a WordPress plugin adds functionality to your site. You see, once you've selected the structure, that is a theme, there are times when you want to add functionalities, say forms to collect data. You want maybe to improve a website to be seen in Google search engine and other search engines. You want to maybe organize a shop to showcase your products. So the plugin normally helps us to enhance the functionality of our website. It's a software we use to enhance. The good examples now are the builders you people have been using. I would have asked Paul and Peter. Paul, kindly unmute and join me as we draw to practicals. Paul, unmute. I've sent you an unmute request.
Okay.
Yeah, so Paul, can you give at least 2 examples of plugins that you have used as a user of WordPress?
For me, generally, I use Astra and no, I use the Elementor, I use Gutenberg, and I also use another one I've forgotten.
No, but that's good. So what is Astra plugin or a theme?
Astra is a theme.
And then Elementor and the Gutenberg are?
Those are for me. I use them as plugins. I use contact forms, and yeah, actually.
What do you use Elementor for, Senior?
I use them for building the page.
Okay, that's very powerful. Thank you. Please stay on call later. You'll share experiences as we interact jointly. Now, let's get to in choice of a domain. Having learned that a domain is a web address that we use when we are identifying or searching for websites for people, time comes when we want to choose domains. Domains are chosen with very many factors in consideration. The very earliest is simplicity. When you think about a name, normally the name is free of charge. As long as nobody has taken it, we will practically run a demo. So you are supposed to make your name short, simple, so that people can always easily type it and memorize it in any case. Of course, you always use the name or your brand. If maybe you are a shopping center and your shopping center is X shopping center, then your domain can be xshop.com, xbank.com, depending. A simple name derived from what your business is all about. So once you've discovered that, now you have to check the validity, the availability. There are many domain registrars, but we'll be leveraging at least shareability web services because it has at least integration of these registrars. But I think you can also create your domains from Namecheap, GoDaddy, Enom, and others. So there are two things a domain normally has. There's the name and then the top level domains. The top level domains include .com, .org, .net, .ug. So these are the ones you pay for normally. Your name is free as long as nobody has taken it. But normally you have to choose these ones. And we'll purely see how to select them. Before we dive in the practical, I also want to share here briefly about hosting. Earliest, we said hosting helps us to set up home, a location where our files will be stored. So there are some basics that are very important. We say hosting is a service that stores your website files and makes them accessible on the internet, like likened to renting a space where you provide your files. There are different types of hosting. We have what is called shared hosting, VPS hosting, and then cloud hosting. So shared hosting is where multiple websites share the same server. Like you cannot afford having your own server as a person, then you go and look for already a server that exists and shared, and then you just buy the space from them. And other people can also buy from the same server. That is shared hosting. We have VPS, which stands for virtual private server. Like the word goes private. This offers more power and dedicated resources. So you can come up, you can set up your own server as a business now to also sell other people. We'll briefly talk more during the demonstration about VPS. And then finally, I have cloud hosting. These, of course, use multiple servers to ensure uptime and scalability. Okay, now, despite the existence of very many hosting providers, there are few recommendations we would make. We have international providers, but I'll be leveraging the local provider today for demonstration because of several factors that I will share with you. Hostinga is one of them. It's affordable, beginner friendly, good support, Bluehost, and others. However, for us here, we'll be using Shareability in any case to show you how to set up the hosting. Normally, what do you consider when choosing your hostings? The fact that there are many hosting companies, you need to look at, say, reliability, like do some background research and find out the uptime, like how reliable that web services or that company is. Because you would want a website that guarantees continuity, like to allow web visitors or users access your website at any time. Additional to reliability, in terms of uptime, we look at factors like SSL certificate. SSL certificate ensures that our site is secure. Normally, if you're searching, you note that URLs have got an S, that is HTTP with the S, that's signifying secure connections attributed from the existence of the SSL certificate. So this is supposed to be provided by the hosting company. If companies that can't provide, then you have to run away because it means your web visitors will not have secure connections. Where there is a shop and they are making payments, there's a possibility that they will be phishing, collecting their details for malicious reasons. Of course, backup helps us to guarantee continuity in case of loss. So good web service providers should have at least auto backups to guarantee continuity in the case of a breach, like maybe virus, server downtime, and so forth. Those are factors why I would recommend you to choose Shareability web services. That explains the basics about website components and probably domain and hosting as components. If you have any question, I look at the chat here. There is no any question which has come through, meaning you colleagues on call here, educators, are ready to continue to the demos how we can register domains and how we can host the domains. So we'll be making some demonstrations here and there to see what we can do. I have something to do. Okay. Allow me launch a browser here, a fresh browser. So this is a browser, and it's the one we use normally to navigate through the websites. So how do you get started? Normally, you have to identify domain registrars, because the journey of having a website begins with the choice of a domain registrar and then probably the hosting company that you wish that company to provide. So there are many hosting companies. I talked about Hostinga, international company. You can look at it. A very great sponsor of WordCamps. Then we have also Bluehost. These are all hosting companies, but international companies. Bluehost. All these are hosting companies. So for any hosting company you go to, you have to begin by creating an account on that very hosting company, on that very website. Then I have the local the local company I want to share with you, with at least dedicated support. You see, all these companies have built up very powerful customer support. But one advantage of working with a local company is to have room or to guarantee immediate contact where you have had any challenge. So I have webservices.sharebit.net as a component of Shareability Uganda Limited. So just as you've seen from the very first step, you have to begin by creating an account, either logging in or signing in. So for even webservices.sharebit.net, you have to consider at least creating an account on the website. You see, it begins by clicking on login. Here I'm already logged in, and I'll make a demonstration, and my colleague will come in to make at least some additions here before we start the real development. So once you are a web visitor and you want to look at our plans, you can always just come and click on domains here. Of course, like I said, the journey begins with creating an account and then selecting domains. To create an account, you just have to click on account here and then select. Can I be heard? Rogers, could you still hear me? Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Very well. So if you're a new person to Shareability, you just have to come and click register. And once you've selected register, you can either fill in details in this form or you can continue with your Google account. If you click sign in with your Google account, that means you have to select the account where you have several accounts and then click continue. Once that is done, there's some very little additional information you have to provide to complete your account. One of it is your phone number. Selecting your phone number is very good because at least it is what the system uses to share with you instant messages. Company name is optional. Street here is very important. Where do you stay? Address. Maybe I can put let me put here, for example, me, I'm associated with the Bugema University. I'll put Bugema University here, my address. And then also put the city, that is Kampala. Then our state here is simple. State is either central or eastern, or you can even leave it. The postal code, Also, you can always leave it. Now, when you're done, of course, you have to confirm that you're a human, and then you click register. Should there be any field you have forgotten, you can always go back and add that, because the system will notify you immediately where there is where there is any problem. The system will always notify you accordingly. So once you've created the account, they will immediately send you an email in your. They will send an email to you, so you have to log in and probably. There was some network problem, so I clicked refresh, but this process can still keep on going. I'm going to use already an account which exists here to leverage faster access.
Mr. Ogisha, it has been created. I can see it here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's very powerful feedback. Meaning, let me try to log in here, and then I'll select my email. Yeah, continue with the email. Choose the email. Please complete the sign up. Oh.
The first time you have to put the password. Next time when you do not.
Why could it be focus? Okay. Wait a little bit. Just a few seconds here to see that we are over through the same thing here. Let me try to reset my password. Submit. Okay, so they have sent me an email. The process is simple, colleagues. You just have to follow the procedure, and everything will be sorted out. Okay, something is weird here. Just a few seconds here. Just trying to refresh to see here the email is instant. Okay, let me stick this account here as I leverage faster results here. So this is the dashboard you'll have just immediately after you've created your account successfully. I want to log in here and put in my corresponding email address created. Put in my passwords, confirm, click login. Let me check my password here. Just a moment. I cannot show the password here. Just making sure that it is logged in.
And maybe in case someone is having a challenge creating an account or anything, you can always just send us an email or contact us via WhatsApp or whatever. You send us your email and name, then we can send you all the details. Yeah, but if you can do it self-service here on the website, you should be able to create an account. Sometimes emails take some few minutes to arrive since they are coming from different servers. Yeah, so you may wait for a few minutes until when you see the email in your Gmail. Yeah,
okay, I think that has been shared accordingly. So once you've logged in successfully, this is what you'll look at your end. Very, very simple. Now to begin on the journey, click on domains and select register domains. Or even from your dashboard here, you can always click register domain. Like we said, your name is free of charge. For this lecture, for this discussion, I'll be showcasing here how we can create a domain for a colleague here, because I want us to have a complete process. So the name, free of charge, you just have to think about your name you want to use, and then probably the top level domain chosen according to the type of your website. You want a commercial site.com will be very good. You want an organizational site.org will be very good. So you put in the domain together with the associated name and click search. The system will check whether the domain is available. That is if nobody uses that domain. And once it is identified present, you'll have this message and you can add to cart. Once you've selected the domain, if it's not there, then you may have to discuss with the client and consider changing or adding something to it so that it is set up. The other step is now to explore hosting, because domain, web address. The hosting allows you now to store the files. So for me, I've clicked on explore hosting. There are different packages available from which you can choose from. And normally here, the packages are chosen according to the space required. Different types of websites require particular resources or space. For this, I would try to use the 1 GB here, and it's 100K. So I click here, order now. So when you order an hosting package, you have to either select that very domain you had earlier on chosen, or there is even an opportunity to select other domains. So I'll click use that very domain that has been selected. And then I'll continue to the next part. They will give me a summary. So far, I've selected 1 GB and it is 10,000 megabytes of bandwidth. And I'll be paying 100,000 per year. So if that is what I had selected, I click continue to proceed to the next part. So once I reach the next part, now the complete order summary will be shown to me. I have the hosting, I have the domain, and normally we have promotions. So during promotion, we give a promo code when we have discounts. If you put a promo code here, you will have a discount on hosting or another service. For my case, because there is no any promo code, I'll click checkout. And again, the system will automatically make an order. So my order has been placed. So there are two options. Either to continue and I use the payment gateways, or to just make a call and send the money manually. And that is probably an opportunity. Sometimes you do that to call and make sure that your domain is selected well. Other people make a mistake with names, the system automatically chooses the domain, and then the complaints come. So you can normally call and then choose to send manually. So I want to show you the email, probably how it would look like when the order has come. So when the order has come, what I didn't show you at the very beginning, when you're creating an account, you receive an email message which you have to verify so that you can confirm your account. For me, I'd already verified while I did it back end. So let me try to complete the order. So having completed the order here, all right. So that order has been confirmed. My colleague back end can now see the order, and then you will set up the hosting. Can I get some colleagues here share experiences so far? Some of the challenges they have got during hosting as we try to fully set up the website to start designing. Yeah, colleagues, you're free now to put up your hand and share some challenge you ever got, and probably we address it immediately. The next minute you're going to spend is design our website, which won't take long now. Just like my colleague has illustrated, because there's this domain I'm working up, somebody is on call. I just want to relearn the installation of WordPress. The domain had been successfully set up back end, and to install the website here you put the title. Let me say Rachel, and then probably the username. I would love that you always make sure you put here the name that you're going to use to log in, and then your password. This is just to have full control and guarantee its access anytime. So when you're installing WordPress, that's a very, very important step. You have to make sure, at least importantly, the password has been created, and then the username. Then finally click install. So that's a clear process that happens behind scenes to make sure that at least the website is installed with WordPress. So after we've successfully set up the hosting and domain, we can now log in into our dashboard and start editing the website. Well, to log in our website or back end, we'll need the username we created. So I can put in the username as Rachel, and then the password that I had earlier on created. So thereafter, I can now select login. You just have to make sure that the username you're creating wow, so that is what you see immediately after you've logged in. This is the WordPress back end. At the back end, there are a couple of things you can do. First, here on the dashboard, you can choose to hide and view different screen option messages. Above here, there are screen options. If I click the drop down arrow, currently you can see site health is displayed. So in case you don't want site health to be visible, you just have to uncheck the box. Even at glance, you can keep unchecking these boxes to make sure that at least what the dashboard is displaying is that what you like. Just as you can see, I have a fresh, clean dashboard. So at the extreme left are different navigation buttons here. case you want to go to home, you just always have to hit dashboard. We have posts, we have media, pages, comments, appearance, and lots of different buttons or tags you can use to filter whatever you want to access. So which one is normally the very first point when you get here inside the dashboard? We'll have to go to settings, and under settings we'll hit general. So we begin by putting the site title. The site title you see is Nachiganda Rachel. That is the name of the website. Normally you have to put it there. And then the tagline, then probably the icons. Let me choose the site icon. So I'll click choose icon. Because there's nothing yet on my computer, I will have to click upload. And from my computer, I browse to where the appropriate icon is. So I've selected one. Upload will take place. When I'm done, I select, do some little cropping, and automatically the icon has been added. So this is going to always appear above here in the address bar during the search, like you will see. Having uploaded, you scroll down and click save. So that is a very important setting. To continue, we have to think about removing some posts. You see, on a website, and normally posts here. Let me try to show you the front end. So if I go to where the site title and I try to view it in the new page, this is how our web page looks like. There is a sample post, and then there is a sample page. I don't want to have these, so I want to get rid of all these. To get rid, I will return to my dashboard, go under posts here, select this custom post, and I try to move it to trash because I don't need it. I will be creating mine. I can even try to click on trash and then select empty to see that everything is completely out. I also go on under pages and I'll get rid of these pages. I don't want them, so I select all of them, then also move to trash, then click apply. I can even continue to trash and empty them accordingly. Let me try to view the site again. When I try to refresh, yeah, the site is clean. There are no blogs, and also, yeah, the sample page has been removed. The goal is to clean your WordPress site to see that whatever is going to be displayed is that which you've created, no anything sample. So just as you can see, the site currently is looking funny. Yeah, it's so we have to then consider adding a theme. We've already seen what a theme does. The theme controls the general appearance and layout of our website. So to make your site look nice, you'll have to go to appearance and then select themes. We shall be looking for themes that allow full site editing. So I go to appearance and then I click on themes. By default, the theme that is installed when we add WordPress is 2025, and it is a theme that allows full site editing. What do I mean by full site editing? I'll be coming back to it, but let's first look for a theme that we feel we want to use. So I can create my website from scratch, but remember, in this webinar, time is very, very key. I would want us to leverage the use of a template for creation processes. So how do I add? I click on add theme, and automatically I'll be taken to WordPress repository. First thing first, you have to filter to block themes because we want to get a template, but that which allows full site editing. While having filtered block themes, you can scroll down and then look for a theme. I am building a profile, a portfolio for a teacher. So I would be very willing to look for a theme that has education. I know there are lots of themes here, but I will choose this one. I can click on it and look at the different features the theme has in the preview. This is how the index page looks like. I can scroll to check different blocks. Yeah, there's some header, there's some footer here at the above here. You can look at other features. Normally, it's important to explore your theme you want to download and look at patterns. We'll be coming back later to understand what patterns are. For if you went to WordPress.org, because at times you may want to browse and probably get to know other themes that are available. So if you went to WordPress.org and then went to extend and selected themes, you'll get a similar thing we've just seen. I'll try to click on block themes here. Block themes are those that allow us to edit the site completely, or that have full site editing. So I want to just show you this very theme I was looking at the other side. If I click on it, you can see I can have all the details. It is version 1.0, last updated May 11th, so it's a current update. If I try to scroll down, there are features in the theme. I can try to go over, and if I scroll down, there are patterns. We'll understand later what patterns are. But patterns are very important. They're ones that we shall utilize as template parts to quickly come up with designs. So you may always have to explore your theme and look at the patterns that come along with it, additional to the general appearance and layout that may have impressed you. Well, I'll just choose to install Blockskit Online Education. And to install, I just have to click on install. And because I'm working online, it is easier installed. But just in case you're working offline, then you will download this from WordPress.org and then upload it just using the other method. I'll allow my theme to download. Just taking a few seconds here. Wow, you can see it has downloaded. Now I can click on activate to have the theme automatically set. So we're going to try to view the website at the front end. This is back end. If I went to the front end and then I click refresh, you see, according to the theme, this is how the index page looks like here. Site titles there, currently no navigation. And even when I try to scroll, the theme, like you saw, comes with already installed blocks, call them patterns, from which we can just customize. So congratulations, that is the very first step in having a WordPress site. Well, to continue, very importantly, we now have to consider creating those very basic pages, because like you've observed, if I went to pages here, we don't have any page yet. So you'll want to have the home, about us, contact, and any other page. For this webinar, I may look at very few important pages. So how do we add the pages now? I have to click add page. We go to our dashboard, back end. Then you select the pages tab, or you can even just above this dashboard, click on the plus sign and then select page. I'll try to use this selected tab for pages. So I click add page. And normally for the very first time, this will always come. I just have to either take a tour or I can close. Let me close. So the current view mode we are using is full screen mode, but you can always toggle between different screens. Just in case you don't want this, you can always click on these three dots and choose full screen mode. Earliest, the kind of mode you are having was toolbar. Toolbar would allow us to have only few tools. So I've selected full screen mode. The shortcut is always Control Shift Alt F. In the front screen mode, you will have your dashboard and you'll have the Gutenberg here for creating the pages. And all these can come, we can always collapse and expand the settings. During creation process for pages, you always have to put the page title here. We're not going to add anything yet on the page. And then click publish because we just want to have the pages created. Next, I'll again click on add page. And the other very vital page is about. After that, also put publish. So far, I have 2 pages. Very importantly, I would think we also need a contact page. So I click add page again and write contact. And then click publish. So 3 pages created. What other page? We need blog, certainly, to keep the articles. So I click add page and write blog. Then click publish. There are a couple of other pages like gallery, which we may add later. All right, let me add it here. Gallery. For this webinar, these are the few pages I'll be working with. The other pages, I'll choose to add them later. Well, when I now have to come and click on pages, so far, we've created these pages. We have the home. The author is Rachel because that is the username logged in. And then I've published all the pages accordingly. Home, gallery, contact, blog, about. So that's very, very important when you are setting up a WordPress site. You'll not see any page yet. If I try to, for example, view the home page and I come here, right click on view, say open the new tab. See? So the page is currently displayed. But if you would observe, the current view that we are looking at is using the template which comes along with this theme. Of course, themes normally come along with preset templates that control the general view or appearance of our web page. So, what next after you've created pages? Well, the next thing is for us now to go and customize the different parts of the web pages. Since we're using full site editing, to do that, then we'll have to go under appearance here and then select editor. Please take note that it is important that you always first create your headers, create your footers, probably create the different templates that your website will use to display the pages and the information. Now, I'm going to walk you through the process on how to create these templates, where they are, and probably their purpose. So like you saw from our back end now, if we wanted to customize any template, unlike in the previous WordPress, you see previously we were using different themes that didn't have full site editing, so it was difficult to control your website accordingly. But now it is just easier. You just always go to appearance and then select on editor. That is to have full site editing. Under this, we always have to come to templates here. Let me first show you the templates that came with this theme. The first template I can see here is all archive. This will help us to display the different information like say posts, but for all the archives, by archive I mean the different categories of posts or information we have. We have archive product, blog home, this is for blogs, blog listing, full width, index, and couple of different templates are here. For example, let me show you here. On the front end currently, the page we are looking at is not our home, but is the index page. Index page is a page that comes along with a template. When you install a template, you'll purely be looking at the index page, irrespective of whether you've created pages or not. So to control properly your web page, you now have to create your own templates or customize these templates to really have for you to really have full control over them. So let's go back to our back end. The very first template we're going to create is the front end. We would want to fully describe or automate the page that we will use when we are viewing the home page or viewing the front page. So how do we create, because among the templates here, there is no front page. So how do we create the front page to help us display this home page? To create the front page template, we click Add Template and then select Front Page. Well, when you're done, you'll have to probably first either use this template or we can skip. Let me try to skip. Well, how do we now use full site editing? You see, in the previous WordPress versions, we needed a page builder to help us build different pages here. But here, we'll be using Gutenberg that comes along with these latest WordPress sites here. So Gutenberg requires you to take note of the following. Just above this window is the title bar here. We will have a blog inserter. Just in case you want to toggle between different blogs, you always have to click on this plus to expand the blog inserter. I have a document overview. We'll be using it a lot to display the different sections we have on our page. Well, you note that we don't have a header, we don't have a footer already created for our web page. So it may be very important to first create this header and footer. So I'm going to leave this front page here. We'll come back and customize it. Let's first go back to dashboard. To return to dashboard, we first click on Open Navigation. And then we try to go back and look for patterns. Under patterns here, we're going to go and select on header. So currently, the default header is home. It's labeled header for home. We may have to customize this header to give us the appearance we need. Because you see, importantly, there are parts of the web page that you don't edit every now and then. Header, footer, sidebars, those ones have to be set at the very beginning. So when I click on header here, this is the template that came along with the theme after I'd installed. And if I try to show you what the document overview looks like, if I expand this, there are two groups here. We have the first group here, and then we have cover as well. Let me show you what they are. Of course, very importantly is this, after the document overview, we have this middle part here, which is now what we are looking at. That is our header. And then probably on the extreme right here are the different settings of the selected block. If you select anything, you can always customize further by expanding the settings here. This is just in Gutenberg, and you need to know about that. So what do we need for this templates? What do we need to do? Of course, the very first thing here is to look at the very first group here. Under the first group, if I try to expand, you can note that I have columns, and about 3 columns. This is the first column. Please take note of this part. The second column, which is blank, and then the third column, which has got some information here. So in the first column, we have the site title. That one, we may just have to keep it as it is. Yeah, we just have to leave it as it is, because we want to have our site title display and maybe the site logo. Let me try to upload the site logo from this part. And to upload my site logo, I just have to click on choose logo, and I'll use the same image I added earlier on to be the logo. I can even choose to expand it or to make it small. Let me just leave it that way. We are editing our header and the very first part. We've added the site logo. I may not need this second column. I may want to get rid of it. So to get rid of it, I select the column, and then at the extreme end are 3 dots. If I try to click, I can then look for remove or delete. Shortcut is Shift Alt Z. So I've removed that section. However, I may want to allow my header expand through the entire section. If you take note of this, look here, there are 2 columns of how we've kept. Column 1, which has this row, it has a logo and a title. That's very important. But according to the span, if you look at the extreme end here, under settings, the width is 17. I may want my column to proportionally share a very good scale. Maybe I can give it 30. I think you can see by increasing the width, it now fits properly. And then this other column, which has the navigation, I also may love to make it 70, so that the width, at least when I add, is 100%. First column has got 30, and then the last column has got 70. So in this last column, very importantly, we have also a row, and in this row we have the navigation, which is our menu. But because we don't have any navigation yet, though you are seeing a preview there, first thing means we have to create the navigation. To create the navigation, we can even expand here and look at the default items that come along with. On the extreme right here, under the settings tab, I can click on create menu and try to click on the plus sign, select page list, because I would want the different items or the pages I've created to be displayed as the menu. Thereafter, I may wish to rearrange the pages. To rearrange, you drag the pages that you want to appear first according to your preference, be set above. For my case, I've dragged home above, followed by about. I may want the gallery to just come immediately after the about, followed by the blog page, then the contact page. This is just my preference. Very good. You can think of customizing it to your preference. So that has been done. In this column, the navigation has been created. And finally, for this button, I may want to put something else. So instead of having this, I want to remove get started, because this came with a template, and probably I put book consultation, because this is an educator, and well, she may have a need to allow the different web visitors consult from her services. So later we'll put here the link. Yeah, we'll create a page and add it here. Well, that has been done. The second part we'll need to take note of is this second cover. I will try to collapse this group because that is done. The group having the title, the navigation, and this button is done. Our focus is now to look at this second group. In the second group, I have the block used as cover. We'll explore the blocks later as we go over this template. So if I try to expand, inside cover are columns. The very first thing I'm going to get rid is the background. I may not want this blue background to span over the entire section. So how do I do that? I may have to select the entire column to select that entire area, and then under my block, because I told you there are other additional settings on the extreme right. In case you can't see it, just click on setting here. Under settings, there are two things. We have the template part and block. Every time you select a block, you can always go to block here, and under settings we have styles. We have settings, then we have style. So under settings, currently there are two columns. The first column has this, and then the second column has that, the picture. We may leave it as two columns. But very importantly, under styles here, if I try to scroll down, you can see where there is background, the color is there. If I click background and I choose it to white, let me just put white. But I can discover that at least it is not only set on the column, but the cover, complete cover. So I can select the complete cover here, return to styles, under background over here, I choose to put white because I want to get rid of that color. This is a prefill I can work with. So I have the main header section here, and then for this cover, I've set the color to white. The next thing is now for you to customize the information according to your preference. This is not that you always put there, but I prefer having educator under that section. Then for this section, I also prefer adding a picture. I can further go and expand, because if you look at above, this other additional sidebar is appearing on top. You may want to have a hanging option tab, so you just always have to click these dots and click toolbar. This allows you to, every time when you select on any given item, the options or associated tasks or right options can come above it. In case you want them to come above the toolbar, then you always just go to these options here and click on toolbar to access all blocks above the toolbar. So like we're doing, our preference is to change this picture, and to do that you click on replace. If you already uploaded pictures from your media library, you can always just click on open media library. But if you followed along, we will have to click upload and then select a picture. So I'm going to add a picture here. Let me re-add this same picture. Yeah, so this is Rachel. Educator has been set. Probably the other information, very important, is for us to now add this text here. So next we're going to create a footer. To create a footer, I return to the dashboard, full site editing. Originally, if you're on the dashboard, you just go to appearance and come to editor. Inside the editor, we go to patterns, and then we go to at least footer. You can see there are different templates here, but we would want to edit this template that comes inside with the footer. So I'll select this footer. Please, you should take note of the name. The name is footer, and it is template part. Well, according to this template, if you can check, let me try to expand the document overview here. I have at least one group, and it is utilizing the cover. Inside cover, I have a column, and then I have rows. For the columns, I have 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. And then I also have a row at the bottom here, which is displaying this other information. So for my case, I may want to change this information that is coming below the site title, because this is site title, site logo. So I'll go to my content I've prepared about this educator, and then I try to paste it here accordingly. I'll leave the social icons that come along with the template. But also where there's products here, I don't have any product yet. I may want to get rid of this. Maybe let's replace company here with let's replace this with quick links. I'll highlight it and then I type quick links. And there's an about us, our news. In case you don't want this, you can delete. But for quick creation processes, I can just choose to leave them. But let me remove the last one, which is support. So for this column, I want to remove the entire area. I can either delete it from this area, or I can, under document overview, click on column, because it's the entire column I want having support. Click on the options and select delete to get rid of the entire column. So I've removed that column completely. I can now save my changes. I think that is all about creating our footer. The other features or information will come back later to it. So let me return to full site editing, and I'll navigate back to templates, because our earliest task was to create the front page. So how do you create the front page? To create the front page, among our templates here, we have to identify the template we had created. Here it is. You don't again have to go to add template, because earliest we had selected it. So I'll click on the front page. Under front page, I will first skip. I don't want to use any pattern here. Let me try to skip. And now my front page is blank. The next thing is I'll desire to put in the different parts of my pages. So to do that, I will expand the document overview. I may want the very first template to have the header and then the footer. So under the block inserter, this one, under the block inserter, I look for patterns or template parts. You see, under theme, we have navigation, site logo, template part, our header that we just created. So I'll click on header to automatically add it in this front page. Then I also want to have content below the header, meaning I can either use this document overview. This document overview is a very important aspect when you are using full site editing. So far we have a header. If I wanted to add an element below, I just click on these options and then I click insert after. So for this block here, I will want to add content. I can either click under the block I've added, / and then I look for content. If not, I can click on the block, toggle block inserter, and then I try to search content. And then I try to drag to that very area. Let me go back to document overview here. So I have the header, then a paragraph. For good layout, I'll put it in a group. I'll simply click on the options here, and then I try to group it so that it is organized. I have a header, and then I have a group. The last part I'll be adding is a footer. To add a footer, I just click on the 3 dots here, and then I click add after. So under after here, if I click on paragraph, you can see it is already appearing here. I can just then type in, I can go ahead and type in here the / and I try to look for template part. Under template parts, I have header, footer. So I have only one footer, so just have to click on footer and the footer I created will be displayed. So let me try to save this here, and then I go back to my web page and refresh. So you see, automatically my home page has been displayed. The front page has been set. It has the header and then content, which we don't yet have, together with the footer already set. A very important feature. Let's return to dashboard here, and then we do one last important thing. So on the dashboard, we always have to go to settings here. Under settings, we choose reading. For my case, I'm going to set the display to pages I've already created. I'll choose home page to have the home, and then blog to also have blog, because this, I would want my landing page to be home and then the post page to have blog. Finally, let me try to save here, and that is all. I'm going to view the site, so I go to site title on the dashboard and I click on view site. So what happens when I click on home? That's what I'm looking at. No information yet, but the header and footer is taking control. So the other very important template we shall create is for these other pages, because the one we've just created is for the about, rather the home or the landing page. What happens when you click on about page? A new template appears. So we may want to edit or adjust the template to take control of all the other pages. Okay, to do that, we return to the dashboard, and under dashboard we go to appearance and then select editor. So below this editor, we click on again the templates. Try to scroll down and look for the template which has pages from this theme. Yeah, this is the template, pages. You can either click on it or click the options here and then select edit. Like you observed, we have a header which we don't know here, and then we have the footer. I may want to set this header to connect with the other header because this is appearing unique. So I'm going to click on the document overviewer, and this header, I don't want it. I want to put the other header that I've created. So I'll get rid of this. I'll click on this and select delete. I don't want this. Neither do I want the footer. I can click on this footer and delete it because it came along with the template. For this body, I'll leave it because this is the information of all the pages. So how will I add the other header I've created? I can click on this group under the document overview, click the options and click add before. So under before here, I can click the / and like we did, search for template part and click on header. So the header has been inserted, but again, there's information I don't want in the header. I don't want this cover to display. So one thing I'm going to do is to detach this header so that it is only here. Or I can try to expand here and then click on cover. After that, I click the options here, then try to delete it by scrolling down, delete the cover. I've deleted the cover only on the page template. I also want to change the color here of this title. So I select the section, go under block, click on styling. Under styling here, the overlay is this color. I click on the overlay. I want to go with the gradient and choose at least some gradient here, some simple gradient. Yeah, that's how I want all my pages to look like. Let me now go to my group. This document overview, the header has been added, the group is there representing the content of the pages. So to add the footer, I'm going to click the options here and then I click add after. For this section, if it appears, I click the / and then try to search for template part. Well, I'm going to select the footer I already originally created so that every time I edit that footer, it will appear on my web page. And then finally I click save to have everything added. Well, I want us to go and view. So we have to adjust something here because something has been altered. The other pages are appearing well. Okay, if I go to gallery, I go to contact, everything is okay. But when I click on the home page, something is wrong here. So I'll go back and edit the template. How do I do that? Go back to the dashboard. Under appearance, click on editor. I look for template parts here. Click on header. Select my header. First thing I'm going to try to do is to undo. I want to undo something here because I would want my header to return as it was. Then I try to click save. Let me first go back to our site to preview it and see how it looks like. So if I try to preview the site again, that is visit the site, yeah, the home page is now okay. So normally when you are editing the other pages, let me go to appearance here and then I go to editor. Under editor, I go to templates. I may want to look at the page template we've just created. So under pages here, if you want to pre-customize the header, I'll try to expand the document overview to show you what I'm talking about. In the pages, I want the same header used, but I don't want the header to have this other section. So meaning to have full control, because if I try to delete cover from here, it's going to be deleted from the entire header. So what I have to first do is to click on the header section, click the options and detach. By detaching, it means I have unlinked it from the main header. So now I can delete the cover. By selecting it, click the options and then try to click delete. Then click save. Alright, let's try to view our sites and see how it appears here. Homepage has already been set very beautifully. Header present, footer present, good. The home page is going to look like that. When I click on the about page, it will look very, very good. I have the title, the menu is automatic. Yeah, footer is also set. So meaning every page I create, I click on here will bear that same look. The other very important template to customize is the blogs, because if I click on the blog, there is some information I may want to get rid of in this section here. So to do that, I will go back to the dashboard. Under the dashboard, I go to appearance and select editor. Then try to look for the template for blogs. So I go to templates. Under templates, I select blog home. So under blogs home here, I will have to first click on expand here. There is information I have to get rid of. For example, in the header, I don't want this cover to appear on the blog home. To do that, I will, from the document overview, click on header and try to detach it. And then from there, I click on cover and select delete because I don't want the blog home, the blogs to have the cover. Let me look at other sections here. Under content, there are blogs that I purely don't want to appear there. Okay, so one of the blog is, if I try to expand here on this section, I have this group having faculties in the template. So I may delete it by selecting this option and then clicking delete. The other group is this one, having popular courses. I don't want group. I have to make sure I've selected the group I want to get rid of. Click the options and then select delete. The only section I want to leave is that having post. including that. I'm going to delete it as well. Okay. Then reviews, I also want to remove it completely. Yeah, so on the blog page, I would want to have the header, the blogs created, and then probably the final part, which is the footer. Let me save and let me now visit the site to check. If I visit the site by clicking on the site title here, yeah, the home page or the front page is clearly set. Other pages have a right template, about, and then let me also look at gallery. Everything is okay. Let me also click on blog. Yeah, absolutely. The final template we're going to work on is for displaying posts or the articles that we create on our web page. So I return to the dashboard, click on the appearance and go back to editor. Identify the templates, so meaning you click on templates. Then among these templates, let's look for posts, single posts. So I've got single post. I can click on single post, and this is the general template. Let me try to expand and show you how it looks like. It has a header. I don't want the title. I'll leave it there as it is. Metadata. So the only thing I would want to get rid of is the header. I don't want this header appearing in the posts. So how do I remove the header? I click on these options and delete the current header. To add the correct header, which I want to be displayed on the post, from the document overview, I can select this group, click on the options buttons, and then click add before. While there, I try to search for template part and then click on header, the one that was set for home. In this, I will have to detach like I did in the previous case. Click on the options and then select detach. And then after, I may get rid of the cover by clicking on cover, and then now finally click on delete. Wow, so this is a complete design that we'll utilize for our posts. Maybe I can also change the color here in the page title by selecting the block. Under the settings, I click on styles. Where there's overlay here, I may choose to gradient and also give it some preset here. Let me choose luminous dusk, and then after that I click save. So later when we're displaying our posts, let me return back to my front end. When we're displaying the posts, we'll be utilizing that template. And congratulations, at least so far, we've created all the main templates that control the general appearance of our website. The next thing which I want to summarize within our video or in our webinar today is how we can now create posts, how we can edit pages. If we do that, then we are ready to go. To create posts, two ways. You can either return to the dashboards here and then click on posts. So far, we don't have any post on our web page. In case you wanted to add another one, add a post, you can always click on add post here, or you can, through the title bar here, select the plus sign and choose what you want to add. So for my case here, I'm going to click on add post. And when I click on add post, normally very important is the post title. There's some post I already created here to allow me have something quick. I'll highlight this post, click copy, and then probably come here and then paste it, Ctrl V. The post title has been created. For content, I also come and highlight this article I already created. I highlight everything in this post, then click on copy, and then finally come where there's block here, and then click paste, Ctrl V. So how does the post look like? I have here the title, and then I have content added to my post. I can further go ahead and customize my headings or my different sections I have here. For example, this is a paragraph. I can always click on the document overview to see generally the different blocks used while I was pasting content. In case you want to switch, like now this is a paragraph, I can transform it to a heading by clicking on the transform here, and then I select heading. Probably try to reduce to H3. Even this as a heading, I'll probably switch to H3 level. I still go through. I don't want this to be H2. Still switch to H3. Click on the heading, switch this to H3. Switch this also to H3. I think those are a few changes I wanted to make. So when you're creating a post title, first important thing, post content, and then the most other important thing here is media. When I first click on post here, the important things we always have to set when we're adding a post. One of it is a featured image, and also the other are categories and tags. A featured image is a main picture which helps to illustrate your picture, your post. I'll click on set featured image, and then I try to upload it from my desktop computer here. If I select one of the picture here, directly related to what we are talking about, and then select open, and then finally click set featured image. While the post is still selected, the other important setting for the post is the category. When I click the drop down arrow, currently we have no category, so I'm going to click add new category, and then I try to put in, this is news, and then after that I can also add tags later to help identify our posts, but I'll go with the featured image and this category at least I've added. I'll press enter to add. Finally, how will your post look like? Like I said, you can either preview it by clicking on preview here and select preview in a new tab. So we have a site, a post title, we have a featured image, and then probably the post content here. If you've previewed your post and you see everything is okay, you can click publish. Let me add another post quickly using the same procedure. So from the dashboard here, I can click add post, and quickly I'll try to look for another post. Quickly here, highlight this title, copy, and then try to paste it here. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I'm going to go where there's block here and highlight the content for my post as well. Highlight it, press Ctrl C, then come where there's the block, and then try to paste Ctrl V. Let me look at the structure. If I click on the document overview to quickly analyze, I have my title, then I have content, post content. One of the content here is a paragraph showing H3, beautiful. These are paragraphs, I have no problem. This is also a heading H3. This is also a heading H3. How about these ones? I may want them not to be italics. I also want this to be H4, smaller than the other. Let me set this to H4, remove it from italics. You note that I am changing by clicking on it as I remove the italics. This one is H3. If I click on this, yeah, this is H3. Lastly, again, we can go to post, click on set featured image, and then try to select appropriate picture here to be the featured image for this post accordingly. So while the picture is selected, I can click set featured image. Again, from the other very important post settings is the category. I'll select news and then I click publish. Finally, let me add more one, and that will be end of the post. So I can either click add post here and then go back to my posts I've created here. I want to highlight this post title, then try to paste it here. Let me also highlight this content here. Control C or copy, and then I try to paste. If I click on the document overview to take a look at what I've created, this is the content paragraph. This is okay. However, this, though it is set to a paragraph, I may want it to be heading. So when I click on it, and from these options, I can click on transform and select heading. Hierarchy, I would prefer H3. Even these services offered, currently it is a paragraph, but we may wish to transform it to a heading and the appropriate level as H3 in hierarchy. So that is a short, precise article or blog. Like we've done with all other articles, I can go to post here, click set featured image, and at least select one relevant media here that I can use for the purpose of featured image. Then the last thing is the category. I'll still leave it at news, and then I click publish. Well, we've successfully created our post. Let's try to visit the website and look at the blogs. So under blogs, we have our 3 blogs created. The first is here, the featured image appears first. And our footer is clearly set. This is the reason why we started by creating templates. If I try, for example, click on one of the posts, we'll utilize the other template we created to display the post. This is the post title. This is the featured image, the content, then the footer. Thank you and well done on creating posts. The next part of the video, we are going now to look at how we can edit our pages, because so far we've finished creating posts, the temporary information, consider it as news. So we may now look at how we create the contact page, and then how we create the about page, then how do we finalize creating the home page. To create the pages, I will begin with the contact page. Now, creating a contact page normally has features like the forms, the map, and other contact information. Normally, for quick creation process, you may need to add some plugins. We understood what plugins are to help add functionality to our theme. So I'll return to the dashboard here and then go under plugins. There are many plugins so far. There's no any plugin installed. Now, I was making a point, there are many plugins we can use for adding forms. But for this video or this webinar, I'll be using the Fluent forms. I want to search for Fluent and then try to click on install now. You can look at contact form 7 and other forms. For my case here, I'll use Fluent forms. Just allow it to install. After it has installed, we click on Activate. That's the first important plugin. The other plugin that is very important, even if you're using Full Site Editor, is Spectra. So I'm going to click on Add Plugin here, and I try to look for Spectra. So from the searches here, I'll click Spectra because it allows me to add on more blocks on Gutenberg. Gutenberg, yes, as a builder we are utilizing on Full Site Editor, may seamlessly also lag out on some blocks here. So we normally spice on by adding at least Spectra. Let's allow it to install. Well, after it's installed, we click on Activate. So while you've installed your Fluent Forms, on your dashboard, just at the extreme left here, will always be Fluent Forms. So let me first click on Fluent Forms. By default, they will give you two forms. We have a contact demo and then a contact subscription. If you want to embed this form on your web page, you just always have to take note of your short code here. Let me try to copy it, but I may want to preview and show you how this form is going to look like. In this form, we have first name, last name, email, subject. I think that's all we need for a contact form. Well, to edit our page right now, I can first visit the site, click on the contact page, and then click on edit page. If you've already logged in, you can always visit the pages and then click edit page. So under edit page, so far this is the title we created at the very beginning. I'll first try to expand the document overview here to allow us to see all the blocks our page has. Like you can see there's need for us to create sections, and we'll be using Gutenberg for that case. First thing we will have to create is a group. I want to have a group, so I can always click on the / here and click on group because I want all whatever I'm going to be added in groups. I will choose this container. Inside this group, I may want to have a heading. So let me select a heading. And in this heading, probably let me first get rid of the heading here. Before I add the heading, I will want to have two columns inside. So I click inside and I try to choose columns. I can search for columns. There are many ways you can add a column. You can have one column, two columns with this proportion. Let me choose 50% so that I have two columns equal. So first column is blank, second column is blank. In the second column here, I'm going to put the form I've just created. To add the form, I click on the plus sign and then I look for shortcode. And thereafter, I try to paste in the form I've created. Later, when we're previewing, the form will appear here. The other very important information, if you visit this site, tichadenis.com, on my contact page, I have something like this. I have this title, I have the form on my extreme right, and then I have some information on the extreme left in one of the sections. So I may want something unique of that similar kind to appear on the contact page accordingly. So how do I now use that? I can even just copy this information and go to my contact page. I insert a heading like we had done previously, probably with the H3, and then I try to paste the heading level there. Let me look at this info. Okay, leave us a message. Control C, Control V. Inside this section, I want to add a paragraph, so I'm going to either click on the plus sign here. I'm using the toggle block inserter. So if I click on toggle block inserter, I just have to type in paragraph and drag a paragraph below and leave it, drag it and leave it, put it just below the title. That's the way of adding a paragraph. If you don't do that, you can use the document overview, expand, and you go below the section you've added, click on the dots and select insert after or insert below. For where there is this paragraph, I want to again copy the appropriate text I would wish to have and come and paste it here. So leave us a message whether you're reaching out for a session. Yeah. The other very important information I would want to add is a list. I want to create my phone number, the other details like email added additional to this section. So to do that, I again go to block inserter, and then I try to search for icon. You only have the icon list here from Spectra. If you had not installed Spectra, then you ought not to have that. So from the document overview, I have leave in the first column, leave us a message, paragraph, and then the icon list here. Which information am I adding the icon list? First, I'm going to add these telephone contacts here. So I can highlight everything, go where there is item, and paste here the item, paste the information. Having pasted, I want to go with one number first, so I can press Ctrl X, click on the second item, and also try to highlight and paste it accordingly. Then the last thing I'm going to add is the email, so I also highlight the email accordingly. Ctrl C, and then come and paste it here. Control, add the email accordingly. So after you've added your email, the other thing would be, let me first paste this email. The other thing is going to be changing the icons. In the icon list, currently it is an arrow. On your extreme right under settings and additional commands. For example, if I wanted to change this icon, I click on the choose icon and then type in phone and try to select any icon of a phone. I can also click on the second bullet or list, then go where there's icon and choose the icon accordingly. I also search for phone, and since it's a similar contact, I'll choose again phone. The last icon I would want to change is mail here, so I'll click on icon, then I choose anything to do with the message, then I click insert here. Lastly, we may have to add a map below. So I'll click on this paragraph here, go to block inserter, and then try to search for Google Map and drag it in that section. So having added your Google Map, you can always go under block here. First, click on the map. Let me click on the document overview here, select the map, and then put the address, Kampala, Uganda. Let's first save this and see how it's going to look like. I've saved. Now preview. If I click on view, I can choose to preview from here, or I can click on view page. So this is how our contact page is looking like. We have the head, the title, or the header. Then I have this column we've created, then probably the contact form, and then now finally the map. So that's how we create a contact page. I'll proceed and we try to create the gallery page. To create the gallery, I will again click on the gallery page here. And thereafter, I'm going to select edit page. For the gallery page, I will not add many features. I will just click on the document overview here. Click on the paragraph. So from the paragraph tab here, I simply just have to look for the block inserter and then type in gallery. Like I told you, I will just look for gallery and then click on image gallery. When I select image gallery, I will have to click select images and then tick on the picture. Just want to have like 6 pictures only added to this gallery. Please note that I'm just ticking or selecting them. Let me make them 9 accordingly. Choose small picture and then probably this one. Those are 9 selected pictures. So let me click create a gallery. I can try to group them according to my preference by dragging them accordingly. When I'm done, I click insert gallery. So my gallery is set to load as follows. There are 3 columns according to the settings, and the type is grid. You can always choose if you want a carousel, like make them slide, it is you to choose. You want masonry, you want grid, depending. So you can try to check the type. The other very important setting is easy load, styling. I will explore that. I believe you'll explore that. Let me click save and then we view our gallery. So I'll visit the website and then we click on gallery now. So gallery has been added accordingly. Okay. Blog is done and then probably the contact page is also done. The final page I want us to create about and home. I normally want to end with the home page because I want to have those sections I've created added to the home page automatically. So to create the about page, I click on the about page and then click on edit page. So here on this section, let me also try to edit the home page at the very same time. I'm going to visit the site and click on home page. By default, remember our landing page is home, and then I click on edit page. I want to have those 2 pages edited at the same time. Very important here is the document overview. Whenever you're creating your pages, you use the document overview so that you have a clear list or clear view of the different blocks your page have. So what should a home page have? Normally that is very, very tough to developers, but the home page simply should offer links and sections having brief intros about other pages. When you're creating a home page, we should have already a picture of how many pages we'll have on our website and then go ahead and create those sections as intros. So on the home page, immediately I would want an about page. The templates that we are using, or rather the theme that we are using, already came with patterns that we can utilize in creating these sections. So I'm going to click on blocks inserter, go under patterns here. If you try to check, there are about patterns that you can try to customize to fully come up with something else. But I want to stick to theme patterns. The fact that we installed our theme and there are patterns already, so I've clicked on theme patterns. There are a couple of patterns here, but the very first one I want to add is the one for about. So I want to click on this pattern, and automatically when I click on it is added. Let me first close this block inserter, and then we try to edit our pattern. According to our pattern, as about section, we have columns inside this pattern, and there are two columns, column 1 and column 2. There's information which I don't want in this column, in this block, like say this section. I can just click on it and then I get rid of it. Let me even delete the entire column. So I click on this column and then select delete, so that it is completely not there. Meaning I want to have only 2 columns. This I can even move it outside so that it is just below this. Okay, let's see the space or the structure. I'll expand here the settings here for us to have a look. When I click on column, this one is taking 60. Let me see, the very first one is taking 40, and then this entire part is taking 60, the 2 columns. Let me look at the information. I also don't want this section here, so I'm going to go to the first column here and then click on this entire row. I don't want to have it, so I can click on the row and then select delete. Normally when you are customizing any pattern, you have liberty to delete whatever you don't want in it. So for me, I would want to have a pick. I would want to have, let me even delete this row. Exactly, I would want to have a picture and then information about my person, like the details of this person. So I click on the picture and then select replace, and then from the media library, look at the pictures I've uploaded and then select one of the picture appropriately, add it there. The other information, like this one, I'm going to edit this section, so I click on it, highlight, and replace it with about me. And then for this section, I'm going to add something like Rachel about me, and then I'll put Nachganda Rachel. I can even abbreviate it. Let me just say Nachganda RG. So what I would prefer putting here from my content is the details about this person. So I can return to my content, and about page here, identify the appropriate biography about this person, highlight this content, Control C, and then come and paste it here, Control A, then Control V to paste the content. The other thing about these highlights here, I'm going to put professional highlights, still prepared from the content. I look for the content. This person is, let me look at professional highlights here. According to the professional highlights, she's holding, okay, here it is. She's an assistant lecturer, so I'll highlight this highlights and then come and paste it here on this section. Select Ctrl V, paste accordingly. But while pasting, let me make sure that I keep the formatting. I'll have this put in Notepad here, and then I'll highlight one by one. Let me copy this and then paste it again. This part here, the first list. Okay. Ctrl V. Well, I can choose to have the bullets. Let me leave the bullets on. All right. just to make sure that we're seeing whatever I'm doing. I'll try to, so I'm going to highlight this content and then paste it here, Control V. Then I'll go back and highlight the other researcher, Control C, then come and paste by selecting the section, highlight the content, leave the icon, Control V. This content creation will be very simple for you. It just requires you to normally select the content and then paste accordingly, the way you want it to look like. Let me also highlight this and paste. I want to get rid of this paragraph, and I'll get rid by selecting the options, then click delete. Finally, where there is get started now, I'm going to replace and put in learn more. After that, I may want to add an hyperlink. So I can, while this object selected, I can click on link, and then I try to type about, because I would want when a person clicks on that, is redirected to the about page. And then probably I would also want to leave her contact there for purposes of follow-up. So I'll type in one of the contacts and place it here. So let's see how it's going to look like. If I click on this view page and then I click on preview in the new tab, this is how it's going to look. This is just a preview. This is a preview. Okay, let me try to go back and we try to see in the document overview how it's looking like. So under the document overview, I have the about page as the very first section. Let me try to save and then we view page. Okay, this is clearly set to my preference. Let us now continue editing our home page accordingly. To add other blocks, we just continue from the document overview here. So far we have the about page and we've added the paragraph block as well. So from the paragraph block here, I can navigate to, again, my block inserter, then click patterns. Normally, a good home page, like I said, should consist entirely brief intros of different pages. Like I would imagine, just after the about page, you may want to showcase what you do, like the services, from the services page. So having navigated to patterns here, I may look for the services pattern. But since we're working with a theme having patterns, I've just clicked on themes. I'll try to scroll, look for a category, rather a pattern here that suits my preference. Please note that there is pagination at the end. I can continue to page 2 to look at other patterns here. I think I can go with this. So to insert this pattern in your web page, you just have to click on the pattern and automatically it will be added, that is appropriately where the cursor was. I can now close these patterns and now try to edit my services. Very important, let me try to expand this group and see. I have different groups in this section here. There are different sections I'm going to edit out here. Let me begin with this group. So from this group, I may need to add a title, because even when it is services, I want a label clearly indicating the services. So how do I add the label? I may just have to expand here using this document overview and then try to select where there are columns, click the navigation or options icon and click insert before. Well, I may just have to put a forward slash and look for a heading. Try to center the heading and probably put in a label like what I do. Yeah, what I do. What I do. I may now continue editing this template. How will I edit? I just have to go to my services, pick a service from the information I've prepared, come and click on the template, and then try to paste. Click on the title, and then try to paste the service. Also, I can continue the same to pasting the intro about that service. Later, we can even create hyperlinks. We can add in links to other detailed pages that elaboratively discuss more about those services. I'll continue to the second service outline and paste it accordingly from my list. Copy the intro and then come and paste it accordingly as well. So this, I will try to fast forward the video here so that the rest of the other things you continue. Because what I'm doing is just the same thing. I'm trying to paste the service and then together with the intro accordingly. Also, look for the service, copy it, and then try to paste as well. Copy the intro and try to paste it. Copy the service. And then try to copy the intro and try to paste it. For the last service, I also try to copy it and paste it accordingly. Please note that now from this section, I can further go and change the icons. You just click on the icon and then replace, meaning you prepare them and then upload like we've done with other media. For now, I will stick to these ones as the one to use. Also, because I'll be creating the About page, where I have taken time and created a section, I can try to save it as a template and use it next time. I can save it as a pattern. How do I do that? Probably if I try to go back to the complete group, so I would click on this icon, these options, and then I select create pattern. I'll try to click on save it as services. I'll leave it synced because I would want anytime I edit the original, the others take the change accordingly. This tries to speed up creation process. So on our home page, I've finished creating the about intro. The block is having the info, as you see. I've also created the services intro. According to my preference, I may wish to add other sections. Maybe let me get rid of this section here because I will not have costs. I'll select the entire group. Then I'll try to delete this section. It was in the pattern that I added previously. This other, okay, let me also try to get rid of it. I'll select the entire group and then I try to I'll select the entire group here, and then I try to get rid of it. Okay, so homepage, I have the about, I have the services. Even this review here, I will delete it. So click on this option, scroll down, and then click delete. Testimonies are very important. On the website, they try to build trust or reinforce trust in the web visitor. So I prepared some testimonies here. I'll try to literally copy some and paste. First, I'll start with the intro here, and I paste it in this area. Then I'll copy also the client's. But of course, in the real sense, we can always use a plugin, and we allow the clients or the students to send in their reviews by logging in and then trying to type it, so that when we approve it appears. For now, I've just used the block to add those templates rather than the testimonies. Additional to the template, the testimonies, we can go ahead and indicate the people that created them. Like this is, let me also copy the other person. If in case you wanted to change the picture, you can always just click on the picture and then you click replace. Even here, I can click on the picture and click replace. Because I want to use this pattern elsewhere, I'm also going to select the entire pattern. I'll select the entire pattern again. Let me try to use the document overview. I want to select the entire group. Then I'm going to create it as a pattern. Please take note of the icons. The group are always having this. In case I create it as a pattern, the icon will change where I want to reuse it somewhere. So I'm going to save this pattern as testimonies so that I don't have to again create testimonies on the about page, because they are very important. And finally, for the blog here, which is taking the news, I will try to get some info and paste it accordingly. Let me look for the blogs. So this is what I would love to put under blog. I will copy this intro and then I paste it accordingly. So there we go. We have our blog and then testimonies, our services. Let me try to save and then we try to view this. To view our site, I just click this icon, view site, header set, correct. The about section is having a link here. What I do, services, testimonies added, and then the blogs are appearing. You can continue adding sections accordingly. I now want us to add the about page content and see how we finalize our design. Like I guided, to edit the about page, you just have to click the about page here and then select edit where you want to edit the page. If you want to edit the template that it is using, you just always have to click edit site. So edit site is when you want to edit the template that the about page is using, and edit page when you want to create the page. And because we are using full site editing, once we click editing to add content and control our page, we use Gutenberg. I've added Spectra, so some other tools are additional, got from Spectra plugin. Well, on the about page, to create other sections here, I will navigate to block inserter, then I'll try to click on patterns. I'll move to theme patterns here, and I would want to look for a particular about us section. So let me use pagination. button to scroll the second page. I'm interested in just a simple section here. All right, I'm going to add this section. It is 2 columns featured because I would want to have a picture and then some info and then probably the download CV. So I may choose to click on this section, but remember it's a pattern. It's a block created and saved as a template to be called a pattern. Thereafter, I'll immediately go and click on the document overview and expand this to see. There are 2 columns. I want to work with 1 column, so I can just select one of the column here and I click on the options, then select delete because I don't want it. Again, still while selected, you can always go to settings here and then control. There are things like style. Under styles, I don't like the padding. There's so much padding inside, so I can remove the padding. And also I don't like the other margins, the way it's appearing. Yeah, I may have some little block spacing. I have 2 columns here. I have this column, then this column. Yeah, so let's now edit our content. If I try to expand from the document overview, I have 2 columns. The first is not set, the width is not set. But where you want to be deliberate, you can even click here and set width. Maybe you want this to be 30, you want this to be in terms of percentage. You may want this to be 30 as a widget, or you may want it to be 40. And then automatically you may want the other column to take up also the percentage as 60. It's you to choose according to the layout, how you want to organize. Let me first try to preview this and see how it's going to look like. Okay, currently this is how it appears. So I will have the picture here, then I will have the info. All right, let's add the picture. To change the picture, you click on the item, then click replace, and then go to media library, select the picture you want to add, and then click select. That's a picture added. You can later try to expand by dragging here accordingly. That's in case you want to adjust the size. You can even add a caption by clicking here. You can crop and so many things here. According to my preference, I want to add here information about this person. So I'm going to click here and write in something here. I will write who is Nachganda R. So I can go back to my content and add in, if I try to look for CV for this person, I can pick the complete or the detailed information about her profile. I can pick this profile, Ctrl C, and then I come and paste it on my web page accordingly. I can just come and click here and then paste it the way it is. Very importantly is also the call. Like I told you, you can further try to customize your content. Let me look whether there's any padding, no spacing. Good. All right. So at the bottom here, I'd love to put a CV. We would have added more information about who she is, but I'm going to click where there is learn more, and then I click download CV. So how would I add a downloadable file? I just have to go to my back end, that is media. I go to dashboard, then I go to media, click add file, and then try to browse the file, which is a CV in this case for this person, and allow it to load, to upload accordingly. When it has finished uploading, you can always click on it and then copy the link associated with it After I've copied the link, I just have to come at this button, click on the hyperlink, and then paste in. Let me first click edit, paste in the link, and I click save. Add the resource to media library and connect it using hyperlinking. So far, that's what we can add on the about page. We can further go ahead and add more sections, either as patterns. For example, I may want to add in the services she does, what she does. So I just have to click on block inserter, look for patterns, and now instead of using the theme patterns, I would just go to my patterns because I already saved some patterns here. And then this time around, I click on services. I click on services, automatically the services will be added. Then I again can click, I can go and add testimonies. These testimonies have been added. Let me try to save the web page as it is. And thereafter, let's try to view it either by clicking on view page. Let's see how the page looks like. So we have who is Nachiganda Gladys. If I try to click on download CV, automatically the document will start downloading. And then 2, we can go ahead to look at the services. I added the saved pattern and I've got access to the services I initially created, including the testimonies. So that's how we create the about page. Our site is complete right now. Just like my colleague has illustrated, because there's this domain I'm working up, somebody is on call, I just want to relearn the installation of WordPress. The domain had been successfully set up back end, and to install the website here you put the title. Let me say Rachel, and then probably the username. I would love that you always make sure you put here the name that you're going to use to log in, and then your password. This is just to have full control and guarantee its access anytime. So when you're installing WordPress, that's a very, very important step. You have to make sure, at least importantly, the password has been created and then the username. Then finally click install. So that's a clear process that happens behind scenes to make sure that at least the website is installed with WordPress.